With the MG Windsor, everyone including us have mostly spoken about the battery rental, the unlimited kilometers warranty or the 60% buyback offer. But all of that won't be really useful if the car itself is a bit underwhelming. So in this video, we'll be focusing on how does the Windsor perform as a product. So let's find out what is good and not so good about the Windsor EV and should you consider buying one. So in terms of looks, the MG Windsor looks like nothing else on the road. MG calls it CUV, which stands for crossover utility vehicle. But in person, this car looks like a very large hatchback and a premium one at that. Now, because of the unique looks, it might not be to everyone's liking. But one thing is there for sure, that it does grab a lot of attention. Up front, the Windsor EV looks futuristic, quirky and even a little French maybe because of the bulbous bumper. Anyway, the connected LED DRL looks good and so does the projector LED headlamps. At the rear too, I feel a bit of French influence, but as compared to the front, the rear looks a lot flatter and more conventional. From the side, the Windsor looks unique, very aerodynamic, mainly thanks to the heavily raked A-pillar. Apart from that, the wheels, the 18-inch wheels look really nice, the design, and they fill the wheel well really well. And you also get electrically folding door handles, which look really nice and they function really well as well. In terms of size, this car's length is similar to the Creta, while the wheelbase is longer. So the space inside will be similar to that car, right? Wrong. Because the Windsor is based on a Born EV platform, a skateboard platform, the space utilization is just incredible. Think of it this way, that you get an interior that is hectare size but in a footprint of a ZS EV. Yes, just like in EVs, the floor is slightly high, so under thigh support could have been better, but because you get ridiculous amount of knee room, you can just stretch and compensate for that. Now talking about the seats, they feel as comfortable as they look. They are very soft, but not too soft where you'll feel uncomfortable over long journeys. And MG is also claiming that they are giving business class-like experience in the rear seat of the Windsor, and they are not wrong because the backrest reclines at 135 degrees, which you don't expect from a car at this price or size. And there's one more trick up its sleeve, for which you have to push the front left passenger seat completely forward, recline the backrest, remove the headrest, then recline the backrest completely, and there you go. Now, you truly get a full business class experience over here. Just make sure that your socks are clean and not smelling, otherwise the driver might faint and won't be good for safety. Okay, not everything is perfect in the rear seat of the Windsor. I'll explain you what. Just give me a minute. So one of the highlights of the Windsor is the airy cabin because of the big windows. But the problem is you don't get a rear sunblind. So you get a lot of sunlight coming inside the cabin, a lot of heat getting inside the cabin. So it should have come with sunblinds for sure. And then the fact that you get only one AC vent at the rear, and on a really hot day, you'll start fighting with your passenger for the airflow. It should have come with two AC vents at the rear for sure. In terms of rear seat practicality, the Windsor has got you covered well. So you get seat back pockets, a folding armrest with two cup holders, a space to keep your phone over here, a single Type-C phone charger, decent sized door pockets as well. The front seat practicality is even better. You get three cup holders over here, 1, 2, 3. And if you want to keep something bigger over here, you can remove this part and store something large. You also get a cup holder on the dash over here and over here as well. Apart from that, under center armrest storage is large. You get a phone charger over here. The glove box is big as well. And because this is a skateboard platform, you get a massive storage area over here as well. Now, talking about the dashboard design, just like the exterior, it is very unique. Just like in the rear, in the front seats, the sense of space that you get in the Windsor is just incredible. And it is mainly down to this heavily raked front windscreen. The dashboard is so big that you can't even reach to the end. Now, talking about the dash design, it looks extremely clean because there are hardly any buttons. In fact, only buttons that you'll find on the dashboard are for the AC controls. Now, there are plus sides and downsides to that, which we'll get to later. Let's talk about quality first, and this is where the Windsor really impresses. What is impressive is the choice of materials and the textures. For example, on the dashboard, you get softish materials over here. On the armrest and on the door armrest, you get softish materials all the way, so it feels premium. The choice of wood finish, yes, you know that it is not wood, but it looks convincing enough, and everything feels very solidly built and long-lasting. So yes, overall, the Windsor's cabin does feel premium. Now let's talk about the large 15.6-inch touchscreen infotainment system, and it really feels incredible when you put Apple CarPlay on, because even the iPad Pro is smaller than this. Because of the large screen, it is extremely easy to use, everything is easy to find, but the touch response can be a bit slow sometimes, where it takes a second for it to respond. It could have been faster. Now, this minimalist design was achieved because a lot of the important controls have been shifted to the screen. For example, drive modes are controlled from here. Headlights on, off, auto is controlled from here. Ambient light is controlled from here. And even the sunroof opening and closing is controlled from here. And most of these controls, like the headlamps or the mirrors, can't be controlled through voice commands as well. And for at least those two, you should have had physical controls for sure. For the mirrors or aircon, you do get shortcut options on the left-hand controls of the steering. But then again, it takes time getting used to, and more importantly, you still have to see the screen to check which function you are going to operate. The top variant of the Windsor comes loaded with features like ventilated front seats, auto-dimming IRVM, 6-way power adjustable driver's seat, a massive panoramic fixed glass roof, a punchy sounding infinity tuned 9-speaker sound system, adjustable ambient lighting, and a 360-degree camera. Talking about the 360-degree camera, the feed quality is decent. However, the 3D view looks weird while on the move because the wheels stay static. So clearly the MG Windsor is very well loaded in terms of features. Now, talking about missing features, you don't get dual zone climate control, which is something that you won't really miss. What you might miss is a heads-up display because the instrument cluster screen is a bit small and there's not much information loaded over here. And apart from that, you get a fixed glass roof and not an opening sunroof, which personally I don't really think I would miss. In terms of safety features, you get all the features that you would want in a car at this price point, except for level 2 ADAS, which you do get in rival cars like the Kia Seltos, the Hyundai Creta, or even the Tata Curve and the MG Aster. The Windsor gets 604 liters of boot space, which is class leading. And the good thing is the boot is really well shaped, it is deep, and it can fit weekends worth of luggage for 5 people with ease. You also get an adjustable boot floor. One thing to note is the fact that this car doesn't get a spare wheel. Now we need to check with MG if that is the case, where the spare wheel is an optional extra or does it come as standard. That is something that we have to check with MG. Now, once you put the boot floor to its highest setting, you can fold the rear seats, but unfortunately you can't fold the rear seats from here. For that, you have to open the rear door and fold them down. And look at this, it folds completely flat and you have a massive storage bay over here, which makes this car ideal for long road trips as well, right? Well, there's a catch. And that is the range. So the Windsor comes with a 38 kWh battery pack, which gives you a claimed range of 330 kilometers. But from our usage today, we are realistically expecting a range of around 240 to 250 kilometers on a full charge, which is all right for city commutes, but for long distance travel, for example, even if you're traveling from Mumbai to Pune and back, you can't really do that without having a charge in between. And that is something that you can do with the Nexon long range thanks to the bigger battery pack, which is really unfortunate for this car because of the way it drives. It would have made for a great highway car as well. So let's start with the performance. So the Windsor is powered by a 136 PS electric motor. This motor has more than enough power. You do have 3 other modes, Eco Plus, Eco and Sports mode. But our favorite mode is the normal mode, where you have more than enough power, be it while driving slowly or smoothly in the city, or to overtake at higher speeds as well. The Eco Plus or Eco mode, honestly speaking, the performance is a bit underwhelming, but understandably so, because those modes are tuned to give you maximum efficiency. So if you have enough juice in your battery, we would recommend to drive this car in the normal mode. Obviously in sports mode, the performance is even better, but considering the smaller battery pack, we would say avoid the sport mode as much as possible, because it also eats through the battery very fast. So as I've said, normal mode has the best balance between performance and efficiency, and that is the mode that we recommend to drive this car in. And now coming to the most surprising part, which is the ride quality. We always expect EVs to have a bit of lumpy ride because of the heavy batteries, but that is not the case with the Windsor, where it feels pliant, it feels plush, but it never feels bouncy, even on rough roads or even on undulations at higher speeds, which makes spending long hours in the Windsor very comfortable. And obviously being EV, the refinement is really good, except you do get some road noise from the wheel wells in this car. And this is, I'm talking about on tarmac roads. So on cement roads, it can get a bit worse. So overall, the Windsor proves to be a comfortable EV car to drive in the city. It would have been great on the highway as well, if only it had better range. Overall, it is hard to fault the MG Windsor. It looks unique on the outside, it is super spacious on the inside, it comes loaded with features, it is easy to drive, the ride quality is comfortable, and it is very practical as well, which makes it a great family EV. The only limiting factor with this car is the smaller battery pack, and you get a realistic range of around 240 to 250 kilometers, and this is where it falls short of something like a Nexon EV. But if you're okay with that, then you can definitely consider the Windsor EV.